Life has a way of surprising us when we least expect it. Love doesn't always arrive with fireworks or a perfect beginning. Sometimes it stumbles, hesitates, and even falters the first time. But if there's something worth holding on to, it always finds a way to grow stronger. That is how my story with Adrian unfolded. Clumsy in its start, but unforgettable in the way it blossomed into something powerful and lasting. I had always been careful with my heart. Past relationships had left me guarded, hesitant to open up again. But when Adrian entered my life, there was something undeniably different about him. He wasn't the type who swept a woman off her feet with smooth words or showy gestures. Instead, he was awkward, earnest, and sometimes unsure of himself, but he had the kind of sincerity you couldn't fake. We met at a friend's gathering, and I remember noticing how he avoided the spotlight, quietly helping to set things up, making sure everyone else was comfortable. He wasn't loud or boastful, but when he finally did speak, his voice carried warmth. His smile was shy, almost boyish, yet disarmingly genuine. That night, instead of being surrounded by the usual chatter, I found myself sitting with him in a quiet corner, talking about books, travel, and dreams that felt so similar to mine. Our connection grew naturally over the weeks that followed. He would send me thoughtful messages. Nothing overbearing, just enough to show he was thinking about me. Coffee dates turned into evening walks, and soon, I found myself smiling at the thought of him more than I cared to admit. Adrian was different, and my heart, cautious as it had been, began to lean toward him. Still, beginnings aren't always perfect. I remember the night when he first tried to bridge the gap between friendship and love. We were sitting close, laughter still lingering in the air from a silly joke, when the mood shifted. His eyes softened, his hand reached for mine, and he leaned in to kiss me. But he hesitated, pulling back slightly, almost second-guessing himself. The kiss landed awkwardly, more like a brush than a true meeting of lips, and he quickly apologized. His face flushed with embarrassment. I could have laughed it off or even turned away, but something in me didn't want him to retreat. His nervousness wasn't unattractive, it was endearing. It showed that what he felt mattered to him. So instead of letting that first failed attempt linger, I touched his cheek gently, smiled, and whispered, "It's okay. Try again." That second kiss was different. Slower, softer, filled with a tentative passion that quickly deepened. In that moment, something ignited between us, fragile yet undeniable. It wasn't perfect, but it was real, and sometimes that's better than perfection. From then on, our story became one of learning and growing together. We weren't a couple who got everything right immediately. There were misunderstandings, little awkward moments, and times when we weren't sure what the other was feeling. But every hesitation, every stumble only seemed to make our connection stronger. Instead of running from those imperfections, we embraced them. Adrian had this way of making me feel safe, even when things weren't smooth. His honesty, his willingness to admit when he didn't know what to do, and his determination to keep trying made me fall for him even harder. Love with him wasn't about grand gestures. It was about persistence, patience, and the quiet certainty that we were worth the effort. I remember one evening when rain poured outside, and we ended up stuck in his small apartment. The power went out, and instead of panicking, we lit a few candles, sat close under a blanket, and talked for hours. That night wasn't filled with fireworks or dramatic declarations. It was simple, but I realized it was everything I wanted. The way he looked at me, the way his hand held mine as if afraid to let go, made me believe in the kind of love I had stopped hoping for. Over time, our bond deepened. We learned to read each other's silences, to comfort without words, to laugh at the small things that once might have embarrassed us. The memory of that first failed attempt became less of a mistake, and more of a reminder that love doesn't have to start perfectly to become beautiful. Months later, when Adrian finally told me he loved me, it wasn't during some candlelit dinner or planned moment. It happened on a quiet Sunday morning, when I was still half asleep, wrapped in his arms. He whispered it like a secret he couldn't hold back anymore, and my heart swelled with a warmth I hadn't known in years. Looking back, I realized that if everything had gone smoothly the first time, maybe our story wouldn't have been as special. It was in those hesitations, those moments of vulnerability, that our love truly took shape. He couldn't fit it all together in that first attempt, but because he tried again, and because I let him, we built something lasting. Our love wasn't perfect from the start, but it grew stronger with every second chance, every renewed effort, and every moment we chose each other despite the flaws. Today, when I think of Adrian, I don't remember the awkwardness of that first kiss as a failure. I remember it as the beginning of something genuine, something worth holding on to. Love doesn't always arrive flawless. Sometimes it stumbles. Sometimes it hesitates. But when it's real, it doesn't give up. It keeps trying until it fits, until it grows, until it becomes a story worth telling. And ours, though imperfect, is the most beautiful love story I could have ever asked for.